The saddest car guy excuses I'm tired of hearing. Don't worry, I'm not becoming a react channel. We're only just gonna use a few clips from Caleb Hammer's channel. It needed new tires, bro, so I guess I'll just buy a whole new car, bro.
$300 for a tire change. So it was like yeah, because it's just high maintenance cost on them. And
how does $300 for a tire change every now and then equate to going into $1,126 of debt on a monthly basis, of which $700 of it is going to interest currently?
Yeah.
Dude, if I had $1 for every time I heard someone use this specific excuse throughout the various group chats, car meets, comment sections, or other YouTubers even doing this, I'd probably have enough to buy a whole new set of tires. It's weird enough that this has happened once, much less all the freaking time that I seem to experience, like multiple times a week. Y'all know changing tires are a thing, right? They're super easy too. If you don't want to do it by yourself, it only costs $20 per tire install for most places. The actual tires themselves can be like $800, $1,000, $1,200, maybe $1,400 for a set of 4 for most cars, because obviously my Z06 is an outlier for how stupidly massive its tires are. That's not nearly enough, however, to justify throwing away the whole car like it's some broken down crap box, like as if it blew up its engine or something. In his case, he had a smart car and it needed $300 for new tires, so his justification was, oh, let me just go take a 50 grand loan on a new car instead of spending $300. And the reality is, tires are a wear item. Literally every single car, no matter what car you buy, no matter what motorcycle you buy, no matter what bicycle you buy, they are always going to need replacing. You don't throw away the entire vehicle or take out a whole new loan on a different vehicle just because you don't want to deal with changing tires. What are you going to do on the next vehicle, huh? A lot of people who I see do this are looking for an excuse to get a new car. Like a specific example is someone I knew with a BRZ where they're like, well, the new tires for the BRZ are like, you know, they're $1,000 for a new set of 4. That's $1,000 I can put towards getting a newer car instead of this BRZ. And I'm like, bro, you've only had your BRZ for 1 year. Like, just change the tires on it, man. And he never ever changed since then, where he keeps changing cars every year. He enabled himself. The moment you don't stop these people, they will continuously enable themselves.
How? How'd you think this was a good idea? $51,536.14 of debt.
I'm looking to have this car for the next 10 years. So that's kind of why I rationalized it. It doesn't make financial sense at all.
This is another thing that I also hate hearing for a different reason. Like, first off, usually I should be happy of hearing this. Like, oh my god, they're gonna keep the car for 10 years, they might drive it to the ground, you know, and that is a good habit, by the way. That is an absolutely good thing to do. However, I'm definitely just gonna call a cap on this, because straight up, most people, like the average American, especially the people within his age range, so like 20 to 35, a disturbing amount of people, a new trend is showing where most people are only keeping cars for 5 to 7 years. The next statistic is that the average loan period for most cars in the United States is moving up to 72 to 84 months. 6 to 7 years. So are you starting to see the problem here? If people are only keeping the cars for 5 years, but are loaning upwards of 7 years on it, they are trying to get rid of a car that has not been paid off yet. This creates a phenomenon known as negative equity. So let me explain that real quickly. Let's say someone bought a brand new BMW for $50,000. If it's only worth 25 grand in 3 years of time, because you know most luxury assets depreciate super quickly, by the time you try to sell it 3 years later, if you still owe $35,000 on it, that means you are in 10 grand of negative equity. Like, you're now behind on what the car is actually worth in terms of the payments you've made. This is especially even more prone to happening due to having higher interest loans, because not only is your loan period longer, higher interest means that more of the money that you're paying is going to the bank instead of to principal.
To going into $1,126 of debt on a monthly basis, of which $700 of it is going to interest currently.
Yeah.
Whenever I get like super passionate about ranting about this, I know it puts some people off in the car community, but just know that the reason I'm passionate about this isn't because I'm mad at people, and it's not because I'm trying to make fun of people. It's because I want to preserve the car community. This used to be basic knowledge. You know, get it going for lower APR, going for putting higher down payments down, going for shorter loan periods, cherishing your car, loving your car, modding your car, building your car, instead of just throwing it away and kicking it to the curb like it's some disposable item, like it's your freaking pair of underwear or a pair of socks. This is a freaking car that costs tens of thousands of dollars sometimes. Who cares if you have a 2017, 2015? I don't even care if you have a 1995 car. If you're a cool person, if you like cars, you're a car guy. That's it. you should take personal responsibility here, and you have the power to. You have the power to have accountability on these actions, to not throw away cars as soon as 5 to 7 years.
You couldn't afford a car. It died. It broke, and you had to go into bankruptcy, so you decided to do this again. I'm losing my mind. That's okay. What is this car?
It's a Dodge Charger.
Oh, f*** off.
It's got CarPlay.
Oh my goodness. So it's a car that's existed in the last 5 years? Yay! That's worth $35,821 of debt.
This is very similar to the first issue that I had. So, much like with tires, this one is a lot worse at least. So, in this case, the car actually did break. Like, oh, their old car broke, I couldn't afford to fix it. So, instead, I bought a new car that I also couldn't afford either, and that's somehow the better decision. First off, if your old car truly has broken down to the point where fixing it just isn't worth it, like, let's say the car is worth $3,000 and fixing it costs $4,000. That is weird, because it is not worth putting $4,000 to fix like a $3,000 car, okay? That's fine. But what you should be doing is buying like a 10 to 15 grand vehicle, not a 35 grand vehicle. You're seeing the problem that we have here, because if you couldn't afford to fix it, like if that was already such a big struggle with you, you don't fix that problem by putting yourself in a situation with something you really can't afford, especially knowing that the car that he replaced it with probably might still break and probably will be more expensive than 4 grand to fix. Sure, you could argue it will hold more value than the 3 grand car did, but like it doesn't change the fact that you're still paying to fix it as well as paying the loan, and it's just not a good situation, right? It's just not a good situation. When I talk about any of these people in these videos, understand that they are putting themselves out to the public already, so I don't recommend you harass them. I greatly appreciate that they were humble enough to put themselves on Caleb's show, so I'm not mocking them. Don't mistake my words as mocking them. I just am bringing up these situations for you guys to see so you can learn from their mistakes.
Okay. Well, a what?
2008 Corvette.
You have a picture of it?
I do.
Can I see?
Yeah.
Oh, you bought it at what?
Oh, 17.5.
17.
Yeah. Just pretty low for this car. The only issue is that I blew up the engine running nitrous.
So you've blown up 2 engines?
3.
What are you?
I like to add power to cars and go fast. If it has wheels and goes fast.
But why are you blowing them up? Like this is beyond me. What are you doing?
It's a hobby. You break it and you fix it. It's just an endless cycle. So the vet was a 300 shot of nitrous. It was doing a 200 okay.
I want to go fast. It's what car guys do. We don't do it by spamming 300 shots of nitrous into a stock engine with no forged internals. Alright, remember what I said earlier about the guest? Yeah, I lied. I'm gonna roast this guy in particular since he kind of deserves it. He's giving car guys a real bad name by trying to use the excuse of it's our hobby. Hell no. We don't claim this clown. You don't use a consumable item like nitrous just because you want haha car go fast. This is peak I watched Fast and Furious and played Need for Speed, and now I'm into cars moment. First off, I'm just gonna mention it here. He has a 2008 Corvette. That's an LS3 engine in it, alright? That's like 415 to 430 horsepower depending on whatever, who cares? That is one of the most reliable performance engines in the world, and for 17.5 grand, that's actually not a bad price, and that's not a bad buy. So much to the point that even Caleb himself compliments the car, calls it cute, and then even says that that's actually a pretty decent price, because the C6 bottoms out around 17 grand, because it will come to a point where it can't really get any cheaper, because it will make too much sense for someone who isn't into cars to buy one to then daily drive it, because surprisingly, LS engines make for great daily drive vehicles. You get 30 miles per gallon, and you can get a car that should last 300,000 miles if you're not being stupid and shooting shots of nitrous into it, which is why they hold their value eventually, because Corvettes drop lower than 10 grand, no one would be buying brand new Civics anymore. Non-car people would be driving Corvettes even. So that's the terminology that guy was trying to explain to Caleb, is that value has bottomed out. I don't see the C6 going much lower than that, for the same reason that C5s to this day are still in the 12 to 15 grand category. They've been those prices for 6 years now. They have bottomed out. They literally just have not moved. Let's talk about the actual car. So I'm going to dork out a bit about cars. If you're a Caleb Hammer fan who somehow found this video, I'm sorry about this part, but trust me, it will make sense and it's going to loop back into the financial. So let's talk about literally the just way better option financially and from a car enthusiast standpoint. Supercharger kits. So if you have a built LS3 forged internals and then put a supercharger kit on it, that literally costs the same as doing an annoying nitrous setup. And you will make 300 horsepower just like a 300 shot of nitrous. But get this, you'll make 300 horsepower permanently. So you'll have a 700 horsepower Corvette permanently. It is not a consumable item where you have to purge NOS and then constantly re-buy bottles of NOS or refill bottles of NOS or go to Summit Racing, wherever the heck it is near you, to refill it. You just have a system that is permanently supercharging your car. That is permanently forced induction. And here's the greatest part. Your engine won't blow up. I have a supercharged Corvette with 800 horsepower, nearly 70,000 miles later, and she is doing perfectly fine. There's no reason to be playing with nitrous if you don't know what you're doing. In fact, I would argue for anyone who's new to the car community, or even anyone who's like intermediate or even like veteran status like me, I still wouldn't recommend it. At the end of the day, I think it's really something that's left up to the professionals. If you're gonna modify your car to be fast, always do research. And guess what? At the end of the day, if you don't have the money for it, if you don't have the responsibility for it, if you don't have the patience for it, don't even bother doing it. Again, that's not me being mean. That's me trying my best to keep people safe. And first off, you should always learn your car in its stock power band anyways. You should drive your car stock a few months, half year, even a whole year, even 2 whole years if you have to. Get used to it, get a good feel for it, make some memories with it, go see life with it, go get some ladies with it, go do literally anything other than blow up 3 engines in it. Alright, if you had fun this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more automotive content. If you want the full experience of pure unfiltered cringe that I had to sit through to make this video, I will link below all of Caleb's videos that I used in this video. Make sure to share this with any of your friends or fellow car clowns who do need to get dunked on for their dumb financial decisions. Other than that though, see y'all next time. Blade Angel out.